Hey everyone, I have received a lot of questions about what any business should be doing with AI and machine learning over the next 30 days up to a year. And I wanted to record a quick and dirty guide for how to think about this and what you can start doing now and what you should keep in mind for the future. So I call this your AI plan. It's a quick and dirty guide. And this approach is for really any size business. Obviously, the bigger you are in terms of team size, revenue size, and what you're doing and all of that, you have more options available to you right away. But even if you're small and you're even less than $1 million per year in revenue, there are several things you can do now that'll make your life and process and work easier and more effective. And also, it'll help you plan for how to approach the next 3 months, 6 months, and up to a year. Cool? So, the best way for you to think about this is that there's essentially a hierarchy of what you can do and what you should do. Now, all of what I will be going through can be done even if you don't have expertise or knowledge or experience with machine learning and AI, so to speak. For everything I'm describing, there are either companies that can help you do these things, or there are tutorials, many of them free, and some paid ones, I believe, as well, for how to use these tools and how to do these things. Now, one thing I want to bring your attention to, which is on the left-hand side, you have an arrow going up. And at the very bottom of this pyramid, you have the things that are easy to do, but they also have low value in terms of giving you an advantage. At the very bottom of all this, you have the approach of using publicly available tools like ChatGPT Plus, Bing, Bard, Midjourney, and all of that. But because anyone can use them, including your competitors, there's not a ton of value in using them as an advantage. The value lies in how they can help you with your process and with your work and marketing, sales, and anything else. And it can speed up a lot of content creation or asset creation. But because anyone can do this, there's not a ton of value for you as an advantage. Now, I do recommend that at the very least you start using publicly available tools, you and your team and inside your company, to generate marketing and sales assets and even other assets. It's not just for marketing and sales. And to get familiar with the tools that are available. ChatGPT Plus, at the time of recording this, is only $20 a month, which is really nothing compared to what the value it can provide to your business internally. Bing, as you probably know, is fine-tuned for search. Is an excellent tool for doing research and finding information and asking questions. Bard is getting better and better, which is Google's alternative. Midjourney and Stable Diffusion are image generators, which those are the basis models, but there are tools that you can use as a software tool that connects to them, and you can generate images and visuals that way, as opposed to doing it communicating directly with a tool like Midjourney, which happens via an app called Discord, which might be complicated for a lot of people. HeyGen is an excellent video generator tool, Runway ML as well. Now, if you go to a site like futurepedia.io, there are hundreds and thousands of these tools categorized according to their function. You don't obviously need to explore all of them. Within each category, there are probably 2 or 3 leading tools that are good to use and have a high quality to them. But many of these tools are Me Too tools. They do the same thing. There are hundreds of video generating tools. There are hundreds of text to image generating tools, and on it goes. As a basis, you should be using ChatGPT Plus and Bing as a basis. And then you add tools from there depending on what you're trying to get done. Fundamentally, the question you should ask yourself is always, what am I trying to get done? And then pick the tool for the job. Don't ask yourself, what tools do I use? It's a red herring. It's a shiny object chase that you'll never win. So don't focus on the tools. Focus on what you need to have done. And then you find tools that'll help you do that job and that task. Above this, you have a tighter integration and optimization and streamlining of your internal processes. So you look over how you create ads now, how you have campaigns and funnels made now. You review that process, you understand what is going through that process, and then you look for tools and strategies that integrate at certain points of that process. So shift your focus from using tools to now, okay, here's our process, here's how we get stuff done, what tools fit in where that can help us achieve outcomes faster, better, easier, cheaper. It's not always about faster. Often when you see these tools, they all talk about how fast you can get something done, but the value is not really in speed. That's helpful and it's good, but it's not about the speed, it's about what you can have done as a quality. For example, you can have 100 Facebook ads or 100 emails or 10 landing pages done pretty easily with these tools and pretty quickly, or at least faster than it would take a human to do them. But that doesn't mean that all 100 Facebook ads are going to be useful right away. But in that volume, you find the maybe 10 or 20 or 40 even out of those 100 that are going to be useful. So speed is helpful, but it's not the thing that brings value. It's more so how you can train your team and integrate different tools at different points in the process of what you're already doing. So look at how you're already doing business, how you get customers, how you fulfill on what you are selling, whether that is with a service or a product, and then you go and look for the tools that can help you perform certain tasks within that process. The next stage, which I hope you get to sooner rather than later, which is where, for lack of a better term, you interact, so to speak, with your data and info using plugins via ChatGPT Plus or other chatbots with simple embeddings that you can then upload or give access to your data and info. Don't worry so much about what embeddings are. It's just a way to take your data and interact with and use another large language model to then mesh those two and ask questions to that and interact with your data that way. So just forget the tech for a second and just understand that the next level after you've integrated tools and made use of them is for you to then interact with your data. And the easiest way is to do so via plugins inside ChatGPT Plus, which is you can interact with, for example, as a very easy example, PDFs. You can upload PDFs and then, and let's say those are PDFs of whatever, data, information, content of different kinds. And you can then interact, so to speak, with those PDFs. And you can do this with other types of files as well. There are many, many plugins that'll help you, so to speak, interact with those files and with that data and information. And also, if you're inside ChatGPT Plus, you can request access to the code interpreter, which is like a data analyst, which means you can upload spreadsheets to code interpreter, and the code interpreter can perform a ton of different data and analyses on the data you've given it. So that the sooner you get to this level, the more of an advantage you'll have, right? So we're moving away from the easy and the low value up to the hard and the high value. When you get to this level, now AI and machine learning tools can become an advantage for you. Now, obviously, your competitors are probably chasing the same thing, and they're probably doing the same thing. But the sooner you get to this level, the better for you and for what you're trying to do. The step above this is when you're using fine-tuning or embedding with your own data and information, either via other GPT models or even ChatGPT models like GPT 3.5 or 4, or other open source models. And this depends on how much proprietary data you have that you don't want the world to eventually maybe uncover and discover, right? So that determines whether you use open source models or other publicly available models like GPT-4 or 3.5. The point here is that this goes a bit deeper into the tech and what you do with it. And just keep the two words fine tuning and embedding in mind. You don't need to understand how that works right now. You just all you need to know for right now is that those are two ways. They're not the only two ways, but they're two of the most common ways for you to go deeper into the data that you have. So if you, for example, fine tune an open source model on all your marketing materials, it is like you'll have your own marketing GPT for your stuff that you can not just have generate your own content or copy or text, but you can also start using it in a way to ask better questions and help you formulate strategies, new ideas, new tactics according to the context of your business and your marketing. This is harder to do, but the value is higher because not all of your competitors are doing this. And it may take them a while to do so and to use this approach. So, and also when you are doing this internally, you're actually creating enterprise value or valuable assets inside your company, because you'll have eventually your own models, so to speak, your own process for leveraging AI and machine learning in a way that'll help you as we move forward into the next couple of years. What I've seen and what I've done with my clients is moving people toward this point over the past few years, because the advantage people are looking for now is found in your own models, your own GPT models, trained on your own data, and eventually even your competitor data or your market and category data. That's where things are heading. That's where people believe that the value is to be found, as in higher value is to be found. And I believe they are correct, at least for now. Now, probably in about 12 months, maybe even sooner, most likely sooner, but let's just say in the next 12 months, you'll be able to buy custom trained large language models from vendors who trained these models. Like I could, for example, right now, train a model on whatever market you're in, which that model will be trained on you, your competitors, the market as a whole, trends in the market, products in the market, services in the market, all of that. And then I could turn around and sell that to you. So it would be pretty valuable for you to have one made already, but you'll be able to do that very soon in the next 12 months, probably even in the next 3 to 6 months, if not even faster. Like I know companies who are working on making these models now, and they hope to be selling them to people or selling access to them to companies and people in the next 6 to 10 months. The key thing here is that if you have proprietary information, unique information or data in your company, that's where the best value is to be found. And even if you buy models trained by other people on generic market, industry, category, competitor data, what it'll lack is the proprietary data. So if you are a company that has proprietary, whatever it might be, frameworks, models, patents, etc., you'll want to get to the point where you're training your own private large language models or GPTs for your own use, which means that these are, for now, these would be things like open source models that you run on your own network or servers or in the cloud servers you have access to and control over. And you, so to speak, you train via fine-tuning and embedding those models. If you have proprietary data that gives you an advantage in your marketplace against your competitor, this is what you'll want to do sooner rather than later. Because the risk is that if you even fine-tune and embed via API access to other models like GPT 3.5 or 4, the risk is that your proprietary data and information will be captured. And eventually it might even make it into the training data that OpenAI uses to further refine and train their models. And if you have your own private large language models inside your company, then that's a greater value for your company than if it exists anywhere else. So you don't have to go down this road, but it's a road I recommend that you start to explore and at least get familiar with, because it's a hard thing to do, but that's the highest value versus your competitors and in the marketplace. So no matter what size company you are, no matter how big or small, no matter if you have a ton of proprietary data or no proprietary data, at least start at the bottom. Start using these tools to generate assets and content and marketing materials, sales materials. And you can even start, there are even easy solutions where you can have chatbots, you can give chatbots access to your, let's say, support system, and you can have a support chatbot ready and working and doing well within a week or so, right? So start using these tools. There are a ton of them available, and then start integrating them into your process, how you do things inside your company. You should do the first 2 layers as soon as you can in the next 30 days. Ideally, you get to the 3rd layer, the 3rd step, also within the next 30 to 60 days. And these, there are websites like ingestai.com and a bunch of other websites where you can upload data to it, and then you can then interact with your data and information via their interface. Again, just be mindful of not uploading or sharing proprietary data that you don't want anyone else to see, but you have, most likely you have a ton of data and information inside your business that is not proprietary, and so you start with that. Make sense? Start at the bottom, move your way to the 3rd layer as soon as you can in the next 30 to 60 days. That's where the true advantage starts coming into play, at that 3rd layer. But long term, no matter what size business you are, you want to start thinking about, how can I leverage open source models if I need to, or just other models with fine-tuning and embedding. Now, don't worry about the tech for now. You can find people you can hire to help you do this, even on Upwork. And you're looking for people who have experience fine-tuning and embedding with large language models, ideally open source language models. And eventually, once you move up the chain and move up this pyramid, you're looking for data engineers, data scientists with large language model experience, and in particular feature engineering. So just keep that in mind, but you don't need to know that right now. It's just something for you to keep in mind, that you can hire people to do this. And the more resources you have in terms of data already collected, the better off you are. For a lot of companies, once you get to this 3rd layer, this is where you want to start thinking about the data you're collecting, how you're collecting it, and where you're storing it and how you are using it. Because the name of the game as you move up this pyramid is data. What do you have? How much do you have? Where does it exist? Have you done anything with it so far? Cool. Quick recap, 30 days. Get your team trained and using these, your marketing team, your sales team, just have them start using these tools. There's no better way to learn by actually doing it. And then integrate these into your processes, use publicly available tools to just do simple things like generate emails, generate ads, generate landing pages, create visuals, create images, create videos. These tools are very, very good already. And then as you move on from 60 days and beyond into the next 12 months, get to that 3rd layer and move up that pyramid. Hopefully that all makes sense. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me, sam@samueljwoods.com.